If you thought modern dangers were bad, wait until you hear what ancient humans truly lived with. These are the 8 most terrifying animals they had to live with. Number 5 was the most probable frequent threat and source of confrontation for ancient humans. This extraordinary animal would have been encountered by one of our own ancestral species, Homo erectus, the Gigantopithecus. It fed upon the lush vegetation of its exotic environment, mostly tropical fruit, and the hugely abundant bamboo plants. The original King Kong was the largest primate of all time at 3.5 meters tall and probably over a ton in weight. Gigantopithecus was shown to browse in the dense bamboo forests of Far East Asia from 7 million years ago to possibly as recently as 30,000 years ago, where Homo erectus also lived. However, in spite of being herbivorous, the humans are terrified when we see a hunting band run into a Gigantopithecus. These enormous apes are shown to be highly aggressive when disturbed from foraging. When angered, a massive Gigantopithecus would have been extremely dangerous to the 40 to 60 kilograms Homo erectus. A single swing from a Gigantopithecus could crush bones, and any perceived threat to its food or territory could provoke a deadly confrontation. Homo erectus may have ventured into bamboo forests looking for food or shelter, but to Gigantopithecus, they were noisy, invasive, unfamiliar. There's no direct fossil evidence that Gigantopithecus hunted humans, but the size and strength alone would have made it lethally dangerous if provoked. It's likely that Homo erectus learned to avoid Gigantopithecus territory, or else suffered brutal consequences. Gigantopithecus may not have hunted humans, but it ruled the forests with size and strength unmatched. For Homo erectus, surviving meant knowing when to fight and when to disappear into the trees. But there has to be said, Gigantopithecus was most closely related to orangutans. They lived in the same area, had some similar features, and had similar diets. Although there is some speculation they perhaps ate bamboo and tubers and filled a similar ecological niche as pandas. Orangutans are some of the most chilled and relaxed animals in the world, far more relaxed than gorillas or chimps. Maybe it was more likely to behave like an orangutan, who knows? But completely different from a Gigantopithecus was number 7 on this list, Haast's eagle. This giant endemic eagle was the largest predator among New Zealand's prehistoric fauna. It is the largest, heaviest eagle species yet described, weighing up to 17.8 kilograms and had a wingspan up to 3 meters. Near-complete skeleton finds show that it had the body and wings of a giant eagle, legs and bill larger and stronger than the largest living vulture species, and feet and claws as big as a modern-day tiger's. Its main target was the moa, a flightless bird that could weigh over 200 kilograms. To kill it, Haast's eagle would dive at speeds of up to 80 kilometers per h or 50 miles per hour, using talons the size of tiger claws to strike the skull, neck, or spine with lethal precision. Now consider the scale. If it could kill a moa, it could easily kill a human. And it did. For early humans, the danger was direct and immediate. There is archaeological evidence that early humans in New Zealand coexisted with Haast's eagle for a time. The moa, its main prey, was hunted to extinction by humans. But before the eagle disappeared, it almost certainly turned to the next best-sized prey left, us. Haast's eagle was not afraid of humans. It had no reason to be. And for a short but terrifying period in human history, the skies were not safe. But surprisingly, Haast's eagle became extinct 600 years ago, around the same time that all moa species became extinct. Overhunting of its moa prey by humans was probably the main cause of its extinction. Loss of habitat due to the burning of South Island dry mosaic forests and shrublands by humans may also have caused declines in its prey species. For the next animal, we have to go to a completely different spot on Earth. Giant carnivorous lizards shared turf with the earliest human settlers in Australia, according to a new study. Megalania was the largest terrestrial lizard to have ever lived. It inhabited ancient Australia during the late Pleistocene and likely survived up to 40,000 years ago, meaning it directly overlapped with the arrival of the first humans on the continent. Estimates suggest Megalania reached lengths of 5 to 7 meters or 1623 feet and may have weighed over 1,000 kilograms. It was not a scavenger. Megalania was an active predator. With powerful limbs, crushing jaws, and serrated teeth, it could chase down medium to large prey. Like Komodo dragons today, it may have delivered venom or infection-inducing bacteria with its bite, making escape nearly irrelevant. A bite didn't need to kill immediately. It only had to break the skin. Early Aboriginal people lived close to the ground, in the open, in the bush, or in temporary camps. This made encounters with Megalania both more likely and more lethal. A human would stand no chance in a face-to-face encounter. If spotted first, Megalania could stalk silently, hidden in tall grass or scrubland. There are no direct fossilized scenes of attack, but we know humans and Megalania overlapped in time and space. We know humans would have been a manageable size for predation. And we know from modern reptiles that territoriality, ambush behavior, and opportunistic feeding are all part of the monitor lizard playbook. Megalania didn't need to go looking for humans. It just needed them to cross its path. Now there's a completely different animal that actually hunted humans in the USA. The dire wolf lived across North and South America for hundreds of thousands of years, only going extinct about 10,000 years ago, meaning it coexisted with early humans across a vast geographic range. Heavier and more robust than today's gray wolf, the dire wolf weighed up to 70 kilograms or 154 pounds and possessed a stronger bite, built for crushing bone and tearing through muscle. But its true threat came from numbers. Dire wolves hunted in packs, coordinating to isolate, exhaust, and overwhelm prey far larger than themselves, including bison, camels, horses, and possibly even young mammoths. Humans, newly arrived in the Americas, were not dominant. They were vulnerable, unfamiliar with the terrain, and physically outmatched. Small groups, traveling with limited weapons, faced a landscape filled with large, carnivorous mammals, and the dire wolf was among the most persistent. Evidence from sites like the La Brea tar pits shows that dire wolves were social, territorial, and adapted to fight over carcasses with other large predators like saber-toothed cats. That same aggression would have made human encounters especially dangerous. A campfire could hold them back temporarily, but if food was scarce, or the pack large enough, it wouldn't matter. They had the patience to wait, the numbers to circle, the endurance to chase humans until they collapsed. Although the next animal on this list doesn't sound that dangerous, it was the animal that humans encountered the most compared to the other animals on this list. People often feared for their lives at the hands of this beast, and many lost theirs to it. We are talking about the terrible Smilodon. Smilodon, often called the saber-toothed cat, was one of the most specialized predators of the Ice Age. It lived across the Americas for nearly 2 million years and coexisted directly with early humans. The most well-known species, Smilodon fatalis, weighed up to 280 kilograms or 620 pounds, as heavy as a modern Siberian tiger, but more robust, with a shorter tail, thicker limbs, and an enormous head armed with canine teeth up to 28 centimeters or 11 inches long. Out of all the terrifying animals ancient humans had to coexist with, Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat, was very likely the one they encountered most often, and arguably the most immediately lethal. The La Brea tar pits in California alone contain over 2,000 individual Smilodon specimens, making it one of the most abundantly represented large predators in the fossil record of the Americas. This isn't just a matter of population. It reflects how commonly Smilodon came into contact with large mammals and scavengers, including humans. Smilodon wasn't the largest, but it was the most widespread predator in areas where early humans migrated, and it was also a direct food competitor, leading to frequent overlap. This makes Smilodon the most statistically probable predator on your list to have killed early humans, not occasionally, but repeatedly over thousands of years. We have now reached the top 3. Number 3 is an ancient Mecosuchine crocodiliform of late Oligocene to Pleistocene Australia that lived 25 million to 40,000 years ago. This carnivore grew from 5 to 6 meters long and 5 to 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Quincana would have been one of the biggest predators in Australia at the time, and was only smaller than the biggest venomous vertebrate ever, the Megalania. This creature would have come into contact with the Aborigines that used to be the main sentient inhabitants of Australia until other people arrived. This creature's name, in fact, comes from the Quincans, a legendary folk from Aboriginal stories. As Aboriginal people spread across ancient Australia, they would have moved near water, rivers, and forested areas, exactly the habitats Quincana is believed to have preferred. Human settlements, hunting parties, or individuals gathering food would have frequently entered Quincana territory without knowing it. Unlike Megalania, which may have been rare, or Smilodon, which lived in the Americas, Quincana was a threat unique to Australia, a continent filled with megafauna and few natural defenses for humans. Humans had spears, fire, and groups, but in a direct encounter at close range, none of those mattered. Quincana's speed, size, and lethality would have overwhelmed even prepared individuals. There are no bite marks on human fossils directly linked to Quincana. But this is unsurprising. Conditions for fossilization in tropical and arid zones are poor. What we do have is clear. Quincana was large, predatory, and survived well into the period of human occupation. Now coming in at number 2, we have one of the largest known baboons in the history of the world, Gigantopithecus, the giant baboon that hunted in troops. Gigantopithecus was approximately twice the size of the largest baboons alive today. Males are estimated to have been 1.5 meters or 5 feet tall at the shoulder and tended to weigh around 46 kilograms or about 100 pounds. The Gigantopithecus is an extinct genus, the name of which means terrible ape. It was a real primate, closely related to modern baboons, but scaled up into something far more powerful, far more aggressive, and far more dangerous. It lived during the Pliocene to early Pleistocene, primarily in southern and eastern Africa. That means it likely overlapped with early hominins like Australopithecus, Paranthropus, and possibly early Homo erectus. And for those early humans, Gigantopithecus was not just a competitor. As a primate, Gigantopithecus had a level of intelligence far beyond other predators on this list. It likely lived in social groups, just like modern baboons, which means not one threat, but many. A troop of Gigantopithecus could control water sources, chase away rivals, or surround a human before they had a chance to react. Early hominins would have regularly crossed paths with Gigantopithecus in the same regions of southern Africa, particularly in forest edges, grasslands, and river valleys. Both species foraged during the day. Both depended on fruit, roots, and meat. They competed directly for food, and in that competition, humans had far fewer advantages. No fire, no advanced weapons, just stones and sticks, against a group of massive, coordinated territorial apes. There is no direct fossil evidence of violent conflict, but indirect evidence suggests that early humans developed tools, cooperation, and group defense partly as a response to threats exactly like this. For early humans in Africa, the most terrifying predator wasn't always a big cat or a snake. Sometimes it was something much closer to themselves, but stronger, faster, and completely without fear. Very few people know the final and last animal on this list, but it was probably one of the worst things you could ever encounter as a human. Arctotherium was one of the largest bears of all time. Representatives of this species reached 4 meters or 13 feet in length, up to 2 meters or 5 feet at the withers, and weighed about 2,200 kilograms. At one time, it was the largest predator on the planet. It appeared to have been omnivorous, but large herbivores were the basis of its diet. Early humans who migrated into South America faced this colossal predator alongside other megafauna. Arctotherium was opportunistic, able to hunt, scavenge, and fiercely defend its kills. It was capable of crushing bones with ease, meaning any human caught in a confrontation had little chance of survival. Unlike predators that hunted in packs or relied on stealth, Arctotherium's threat came from its intimidating presence and brute force. A lone bear could easily overpower an individual human. Its aggressive nature and territorial instincts would have made it highly dangerous whenever humans ventured into its territory. Its gigantic size made it virtually unstoppable in direct confrontations. It possessed enormous crushing power, capable of ending a human life instantly. As a territorial and aggressive animal, it would not hesitate to attack intruders. Humans had no effective means to defend themselves against such a colossal predator during the Pleistocene. So yeah, ancient humans really had to watch their backs. It was about surviving some seriously terrifying creatures. Crazy to think about, right? If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which of these beasts freaked you out the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay fascinated.